Hello there guys, welcome to my channel. I hope you're having a wonderful day so far. If you are new here and you like true crime histories, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Also, some of my social medias will be linked down below in the description so you can follow me. Thanks for subscribing and enjoy this video. So today's story takes place in Australia, and actually this case is pretty famous. By the name of this video, I guess you already know about who this video is. This case is a disaster. When I was reading this, I just couldn't personally realize what kind of things can push people like this woman to do what she did. Well, I know that love can push us into different things, but this woman definitely took it too far. So let's start from childhood and the background of Katherine Knight. Katherine was born on October 24th in 1955 in Turnfield, Australia. Katherine's mother, Barbara, previously was married to a man called Jack Rogan. They had 4 kids and they were living in Aberdeen, New South Wales, until Barbara met a man named Ken Knight, who was actually a co-worker of her husband. So Barbara and Ken ran away together. They left the town because there was a huge backlash on their relationship, as long as it was a small conservative town, and they just didn't react well on their romance. So they left together to Moore, which is also in Australia. None of her sons went with her, so Barbara and Ken, they also had 4 kids, and 2 of them were twin girls, one of which was Katherine. So a few words about Ken Knight. Ken Knight was an alcoholic and abuser who abused Katherine's mother. He would rape her if she didn't want to have sex with him so many times as he wanted. And this behavior was actually pretty common in their family, as Katherine remembers already after her trial that some of the family members used to rape her as well till the age of 11. And she complained about this to her mother, and she said that it was okay and then she doesn't need to say anything about it to anyone. It affected Katherine, and actually, as it clear had impact on her life. When she was at school, she was a loner and she didn't have any friends. She used to bully smaller children, and it is stated that there was a situation when she was threatening one boy at school with a weapon. By contrast, she actually was pretty smart teenager. She had the best grades, and also she was winning rewards for her studying. However, she left school at the age of 15 to start working on the clothing factory. But after that, she ended this work too, and she started to work at abattoir. And this job, she called it the dream job. During her job at the abattoir, she got a set of butcher's knives, which became her favorite things. She had them hanging over her bed. She used to tell that one day she will use them and that she likes just, to have them around. So let's move to Katherine's personal life, which plays the biggest role in this story. She was married a few times. Her first husband was David Stanford Kellett. She met him in 1973 at the abattoir. They were co-workers. He actually became friends with her brother. David was an alcoholic who faced some traumatic events in the past. First one was when he had witnessed his friend being killed in a shunting, and the second one was when he helped to rescue children from bus struck by a train and 6 children died. It also had impact on him. He started to drink a lot and also started to be engaged in a fist fight. They just fell in love, and David was soon to find out that Katherine is a very strong, physically strong woman. When they had fights, Katherine was always, she wasn't afraid of him. She could stand by herself and even hit him as well. They got married in 1974, and it was from her request, and at a service she was intoxicated. Katherine's mother, Barbara, had talked with David, and she told him to be very careful with Katherine. as long as she can threaten people who upset her. And she said to him that he shouldn't cheat on Catherine and to upset her because she can kill him. On their wedding night, Catherine tried to strangle David because he fell asleep, and they only had 3 times intercourse. It's fair to say that this marriage was hard for both of them. Catherine was constantly jealous of David. One day, she hit him with a frying pan on the head just because he was late from the darts game, and David was heavily injured. Police wanted to charge Catherine, but she somehow regulated it with David, and they continued living together. In 1976, they had their first child, Melissa Ann, and soon after, David left Catherine for another woman, and they actually ran away together to Queensland. Catherine was furious. It seems that she just went out of her mind. She took her daughter, who back then was a few months old, and she was going down the street with a pram, and she was shaking this pram so hard that the child just could fell off. Thankfully, there were witnesses of this accident, and soon after, Catherine was taken to St. Elm's Hospital, where she was diagnosed with postnatal depression. She was recovering there for several weeks, and then she went back home. However, a few days later, she took Melissa Ann again and placed her in a railroad. She left her there and then went with an axe to threaten and scare people around. Melissa Ann was saved by a man, and it was just before the train came. Talking about Catherine, she was placed in St. Elm's again, but she recovered and came back home again. Soon after, she made an action again. She took a woman by hostage and said to her to drive her to Khaled's mother's house. Woman escaped, thankfully. She escaped, but then Catherine took a boy and was threatening him with a knife. Thankfully, again, police disarmed her and arrested her and put in another hospital. And she said to the nurses there that she actually wanted to kill a mechanic that was repairing Khaled's car, and she said that she wanted to do this because a mechanic helped Khaled to escape from her. Police informed Khaled about the situation, so he broke up with this girlfriend of his at the time to go back to be with Catherine. After that, they moved places, and they actually gave birth to another daughter. However, their relationship ended, which is logical. David was just afraid of Catherine, afraid for his life and the lives of his children. In 1986, Catherine met another man named David Sanders, who was a 38 years old minor. Soon after, he moved in with Catherine and her daughters, but he had his own apartment in Scone. It was an upsetting factor to Catherine as long as she couldn't control him anytime. She was jealous, and as it was with David, she wanted to control David Sanders, like fully control him. They had arguments, and he was moving back to his apartment, but Catherine was always begging him to come back to her. She made an example for him what she would do to him if he has an affair with another woman. She cut the throat of a 2-month puppy of David. She also hit him with a frying pan, as she used to do with David. Just a curious fact. Sanders and Catherine had a third daughter together, third daughter for Catherine. Also, Sanders put a deposit on the house. Catherine decorated it with animal skulls, and different types of weapons. One day there was the biggest argument between them when she hit him hard and also tried to cut him, to stab him with scissors, and it just scared the shit out of Sanders. So she just ran away from her and was hiding from her. When a few months later Sanders came back to the town, he went to the police station and got the information that she made a restriction order. Katherine told the police that she was afraid of Sanders and that he was abusing her, and just changed the situation and made it up. So, as you can understand already, their relationship ended as well, not in a good way. After Sanders, she met another man named John Chillingworth and they had a son together. They were together for 3 years, but their relationship ended because Katherine met another man, John Price. And right now we will move to what happened to John Price and what Katherine Knight did. What just awful murder she committed. John Charles Thomas Price was born on April 4th in 1955. He was a pretty nice guy. He was divorced, but he had 2 children living with him, and they seemed to like Katherine. And in general, John's and Katherine's relationship in the beginning were going pretty smoothly. He was a minor and he made enough money to make Katherine feel comfortable, and it was just very, very fruitful relationship. However, Katherine wanted more, and she wanted to marry John and to become a family, but John at some point didn't want it, or maybe he wasn't ready for it. Katherine was very upset, and as we can understand already, when she's upset, she turns violent. Katherine wanted revenge, so she framed John for stealing things from his work, even if he was stealing from rubbish tip, things that anyone just don't need. He was fired, and it made him very, very angry at Katherine, so he broke up with her. A few months later, however, they reconciled their relationship and came back together. But this time, he refused to live with her. When they remained together, John stopped communicating with his friends. Maybe the reason was that Katherine didn't want it, maybe that there was some troubles between John and his friends, but as they say, it could be possible that it was just the Katherine's desire. Probably John was afraid that Katherine can harm his friends. In February of 2000, their arguments became so violent that Katherine tried to stab him, and he was afraid for his life and the life of his children, so he got a restriction order. And also he told his co-workers that if something happens to him, if he doesn't go to work, because he was always going to work, he never missed it, and if he will miss his work one day, so they know that Katherine did something to John. Now we will move to the most gruesome part of this video, and I think I won't tell about the murder in details as long as it's too graphic, and I just don't want to harm your mental condition. On 29th of February of 2000, John came back home from his shift and went to bed at 11 p.m. Soon after, Katherine returned home, had a shower, cooked her meal, watched TV, and went upstairs to John, where they had sex, and then John fell asleep again. Then Katherine took out her butcher knife and stabbed John 37 times. He tried to escape. However, as criminalists figured out, someone, Katherine, just didn't let him go out of the house. She took him by surprise, and then she started to mock his body. The horrible part is that she wanted to prepare a dinner for her and his children. She even put plates with their names on it, and she wanted to feed them with the parts of their father's body. Also, Katherine made a note where she wrote an accusations towards John that he raped her daughter. However, these accusations were groundless. After she ended, she took plenty of pills, and then she collapsed. In the morning, co-workers realized that John didn't go on his shift. So, as they remember his words, they called the police, and the police came to see this gruesome scene. They soon found Catherine, but when she woke up, she said that she doesn't remember anything. In the kitchen, police found John's body and what was left from him. Catherine was quickly charged with John's murder, even if she said that she doesn't remember anything, which actually may be possible, but I guess that she understood what she was doing. She was plead guilty and was put in the prison without parole. In fact, Catherine was the only woman in Australia who got life imprisonment without parole. So she made history here. Catherine maintains her innocence, and she says that she didn't make it, and she refuses to take responsibility for what she did. She's still serving her life sentence at Silverwater Women's Correctional Center. So this is the end of this story, and I hope you guys liked it. And I would like to know your opinions down below in the comments so we can discuss it. See you soon. Bye.